Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. There are two ways to be fooled. One is to believe what isn't true, the other is to refuse to believe what is true. It is better to try something and fail than to try nothing and succeed. The result may be the same, but you won't be. We always grow more through defeats than victories. I found I had less and less to say, until finally, I became silent, and began to listen. I discovered in the silence, the voice of God. People demand freedom of speech, as a compensation for the freedom of thought, which they seldom use. The most common form of despair is not being who you are. To win a crowd is no art. For that only untruth is needed, nonsense, and a little knowledge of human passions. But no witness to the truth dares to get involved with the crowd. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. But by sitting still, and the more one sits still, the closer one comes to feeling ill. Thus, if one just keeps on walking, everything will be all right. People settle for a level of despair they can tolerate, and call it happiness. Take a chance, and you may lose. Take not a chance, and you have lost already. The function of prayer is not to influence God, but rather to change the nature of the one who prays. Who am I? How did I come into the world? Why was I not consulted? The unhappy person is never present to themselves, because they always live in the past or the future. The minority is always stronger than the majority, because the minority is generally formed by those who really have an opinion. Our life always expresses the result of our dominant thoughts. It is the duty of the human understanding to understand that there are things which it cannot understand. Do it, or don't do it. You will regret both. The more people who believe something, the more apt it is to be wrong. The person who's right often has to stand alone. The tyrant dies, and his rule is over. The martyr dies, and his rule begins. The thing that cowardice fears most is decision. Are you not aware that there comes a midnight hour when everyone must unmask? A man may perform astonishing feats and comprehend a vast amount of knowledge, and yet have no understanding of himself. But suffering directs a man to look within. If it succeeds, then there, within him, is the beginning of his learning. Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom.